Tips for safety around snowplows, Carnegie's winter offerings, and smoke detectors are very much needed. This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. I'm Sherelle Roberts, and this is Lexington Now. Snow and ice can strike at any time during the winter months, so the city has a snow plan to make sure that streets are clean, clear, and usable. Rob Allen has some tips on how you can stay safe around the snow plows and how you can help clear the way for them.
You really need to give them what we call room to work.
That's the advice Rob Allen has for drivers around snow plows.
The addition of a plow to a truck can add an additional 12 feet to the length of the vehicle, which creates blind spots to either side. So we ask folks to, be patient, give a buffer to a snow plow, be aware that this is a large vehicle, driving conditions, visibility can be reduced, and they have some blind spots. So be a defensive driver anytime you're around a snow plow. At night, if the plow is in the raised position and we're just salting, the plow actually blocks the headlights, and that's why we have the special lights on top of the plow to help. But you're talking, some reduced visibility and some angles are different, and that's why we tend to go slower. At the very least, 10 miles below the posted speed limit, and certainly it doesn't hurt, for example, if you're passing one, to give a little tap on the horn so the driver's aware that you're there and they're not shifting lanes.
In addition to reduced visibility for plow operators, there are other considerations.
It adds a lot of weight to the vehicle, so the stopping distance, especially if that truck is loaded with salt, you'll notice our vehicle's slowing down a lot further away from red lights or stop signs and things like that, especially in neighborhoods.
Mr. Allen explains that there are other ways to help in snowplow operations, even when you're not on the road.
One of the easiest things to help us is not to park on the street. If I know it's convenient, we do it at our house, especially if you have multiple drivers parking in the street because you're leaving first. But if you can get off-road or off of a snow route, onto a neighborhood street even, it really helps those drivers. Certainly there are some videos available as far as how you can clear your driveway and to the left of your driveway so the plow doesn't create a furrow across the front of your driveway apron and kind of block you in. And just generally trying to, if you don't have to be out, don't go out, or wait until daylight hours when, you don't have that reduced visibility factor.
Mr. Allen goes on to tell us what factors go into the decision of where plows operate in the city's snow plan.
There are several factors that go in towards prioritizing the volume of traffic and the size of the road. For example, a major road, which is a major artery both in and out of the city, the facilities located along that road, major employment centers, and then also the transportation network. How does this link into the state road system for transportation in and out of Fayette County and the region as a whole? We try to work through the plan from priority 1 to priority 4, and 4 is usually a neighborhood collector street. So folks need to understand the plan is designed to be completed 24 to 36 hours after the precipitation stops, and that we will work through the ranks. Now sometimes we'll actually start at 4s and work our way back to 1. For example, if we've been able to pre-treat the major roads and we haven't been able to pre-treat neighborhood roads, we'll start in there and work our way out, trying to do our best to make it safe and allow people to have access to everything.
Mr. Allen has these final thoughts on ensuring a safe winter on the roads around snowplows.
Give them room to work. We'll go back to that. Be aware, these trucks are big, they're slow, they may have limited visibility because of weather conditions, and the main objective is safety for everyone. And give them a good buffer, and just take your time to get to where you're going.
You can check out the city snow plan on lexingtonky.gov. For more than 25 years, the Carnegie Center for Literacy and Learning has been a hub for writers and students alike. Neil Chethik, the center's director, gives us a preview of what's on offer this winter.
The Carnegie Center is a community space, and that's in a lot of ways why it came about. The building itself was essentially donated by the Carnegie Endowment back in 1904-05, and it served as this Lexington Library, the Lexington Public Library's main branch from 1905 all the way to 1989. At that time, they moved the library over to its current location at Phoenix Park, and this place was left abandoned. Out of that, Mayor Scotty Basler at the time, decided that this should continue to be used as a literary and literacy center, and he and the Carnegie Center worked out a deal with the library to develop this. In 2017, we celebrated our 25th anniversary. We are now engaged with 10 to 15,000 people per year, and that number is growing as the city grows. We're located in heart center of Lexington, just north of downtown, in a residential area with a beautiful park in our backyard. So we've just laid out our season for the beginning of 2018, and we're extremely excited about it. In January alone, we have the annual Martin Luther King Day celebration. All the people who tend to go over to the march right afterwards at 12:30, the Carnegie Center has continually had a event for 3 hours, mostly for kids and families, and they basically get to dig deeper into the MLK Jr. legacy. And then on January 31st, this year we have the induction ceremony for the Kentucky Writers Hall of Fame. The Carnegie Center is the location for the Hall of Fame. This is our 6th year, and we have thus far only had 5 living inductees, and this one, our 5th, is Bell Hooks. She's a writer from Berea, or at least she lives in Berea now, and she is an internationally known, brilliant black feminist writer, and she will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The public is invited to that. It's at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, January 31st at the Carnegie Center. Starting in early January, we begin our season of classes, and those include writing classes, language classes, and lots of enrichment classes for children. So on the adult side, if you are thinking about writing, if you like to write, if you are in a writing group but would like to have more feedback, if you have a book that's ready to roll, those are the kind of things that we can help writers with. We have classes in fiction, nonfiction, poetry. We've got one called The Power of a Great First Chapter, and we've also got one called Write a Novel in 6 Months. And those are just 2 of our newer classes. We have ongoing classes for other writers. On the language side, in addition to having several levels of Spanish and French, we also have introduction to German, Arabic, and Italian. So if you're looking for just a little bit to go to Germany or to go to Italy or to understand our world, Arabic, those are the kind of things that we offer to get people a taste. Our kids programming starts up in earnest again in January as well. Second week in January, we have classes that are sort of fun enrichment classes for kids who like math, who like reading, who like writing. We get them together with a very enthusiastic and inspiring instructor, and they work together on all those skills, trying to be even better than the average. And almost all of our children's classes are free or very low fee, about $5 or $10 at the most. And so we really encourage people of every income level to come here. We don't turn people away because they can't pay. And that's really at the core of our mission, which is to help children through imaginative learning processes to help them succeed in life and have fulfilling learning experiences.
Nationwide, more people die in fires during the winter than any other time of the year. We'll tell you what the fire department is doing to help stop that.
We have more miles of running water than any state in the continental U.S. You may not know it, but all our streams catch water directly from storm sewers on our streets. When someone tosses a cigarette butt on Main, it could end up in Town Branch. Don't trash the bluegrass.
This is Tom Leach. A team plays their best when they're prepared. They have a plan so they know what to do to win. Just like a winning team, your family needs to be prepared for emergencies, severe weather, power outages, flooding, and fires. The Kentucky Emergency Management Association, along with your local emergency management agency, want you to be prepared. Be aware of potentially dangerous conditions. Put together an emergency kit for your home, office, and vehicle. Have a family emergency plan and update it regularly. For more information, visit kyema.org.
Welcome back to the show. The Lexington Fire Department is ramping up the free smoke alarm program. The program has already installed more than 8,000 smoke alarms throughout Lexington. Here's more information on how you can get involved in the program.
Nationally, the statistics show that 3 out of every 5 home fire deaths occur in homes without working smoke alarms. And we've seen that reflected here in Lexington, especially this year. We've had 6 fire fatalities, and all of those have been in homes without working smoke alarms. In 2013, Chief Jackson asked that we seek funding for the program as it exists now. We did that in a number of ways. One was to get grants. We also rely heavily on donations from community partners such as private individuals or even businesses in the area. To date, we've given out 8,000 smoke alarms in this program in its current iteration. All those homes we've gone into either haven't had working smoke alarms or their smoke alarms have expired. They only last 10 years. A lot of people don't realize that either. So after 10 years, if they're older than a 5th grader, they're not going to protect your family. So I feel like, anecdotally speaking, the need is very prevalent here in Lexington and is probably more widespread than anyone realizes. With the news, the recent events here in town, our supply has been exceeded by the demand. So we also are stepping up our request for donations from the public. There are folks who can't afford them. There are also the elderly who maybe have a hard time installing them or checking them, and just because of they're relatively inaccessible. But they're the most important appliance in your house, and absolutely every night when you go to bed, your life depends on those working correctly. I think because they're out of sight, they're sort of out of mind. It doesn't take very long. We come in teams of 2. One person will educate the homeowner about how to take care of the alarms and make sure they last the full 10 years, and also provide other safety tips or take a look at anything that maybe concerns the occupant while the other person installs. And we can do it in as fast as 10 minutes. You know, if the person doesn't have any questions, we come in, fill out our paperwork, put the alarms up, and we'll be out of your hair in no time. You know, there's no question that they can save lives. They also save property. You know, if you have an alarm in your home that works, it might go off and remind you that, you know, you've got food on the stove or a piece of toast caught in the toaster, and you can go and take care of that yourself and never have to call the fire department. And the consequences can be that you lose irreplaceable items. If you don't get that warning, certainly it can save your life. But that aside, even assuming that you were awake and got out, you know, the blanket that maybe a deceased relative made, or the photo album from when grandfather fought in World War II, those things will be gone and they can't be replaced. So it's a smoke alarm is not only life insurance, it also protects your pets and your possessions.
Local college students are being given an amazing opportunity to work in the mayor's office to gain experience in government. Scott Shapiro tells us what it's all about.
Hi, I'm Scott Shapiro. I work in Mayor Jim Gray's office here, and we are going to talk today about the Mayor's Fellow Program. So this is a program where we have students from local universities, University of Kentucky or Transylvania, come in and spend either a summer full-time or during the school year a part-time internship in the mayor's office that's paid $10 an hour, not too shabby. So today we're going to be talking with our current mayor's fellow, Gabe Tomlin from the University of Kentucky. Hello, Gabe. Thanks for coming.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions just so people can get a flavor of the Mayor's Fellows program. So what made you apply for the Mayor's Fellow program?
So I heard about it through my advisor, and she said she knows my interest in the arts, but I'm also interested in public relations and policy. So she referred it to me, and I applied, and now I'm here.
That's great. Yeah, you've got an interesting mix of interests. So education policy, I know that's an interest of yours. The arts and using the arts to make a difference. And you created this group on campus called Poetic Justice. Tell us about that.
Yes, Poetic Justice was an org that I started sophomore year of college. It really just started with me in a room writing by myself, but it grew into something that I'm really proud of. It's a arts-oriented organization, and we use our voices to just create an environment that's conducive for creativity, and we also are really political. We have teach-ins. Our last teach-in was on Brescia Meadows. She was a 14-year-old girl who got arrested for being in an abusive home, basically, and so we had a nice informational rally around that. We collaborate with orgs. We write. Really, it's just about creating community and safe spaces for people who need them to create. Yeah.
It's amazing. I know you've published some books of poetry as well.
Yes. We published our first volume of poetry last semester, and it was just Poetic Justice Volume 1. And this semester we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to visit local high schools and elementaries to get the kids writing and get them published too. So that's
great. Well, tell us about a typical day in the life of a Mayor's Fellow here in the office.
Lots of coffee, lots of running around. I see busy folks coming in and out. But for me, it's just I come here and work on the projects that you assign and do research. It's a lot of research, a lot of conversations going on.
Tell us about the project you're working on right now, the research project.
Right now, I'm researching the digital divide here in Lexington, and just preparing for the merger with MetroNet and the fiber that's coming here. And we want to make sure that all the services that we have are equitable. So I'm making sure that we have resources and information on how to close gaps and bring things to communities that they need, and so that we're all on the same playing field. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, is there anything that surprised you about the Mayor's Fellow program?
How nice everyone is. I don't know why that surprised me. I think I was expecting like a bullpen, like everyone's just kind of cutthroat politicians, but it's really not that. Everybody's here just doing their job and working together. It's like really a team effort. I didn't expect that coming in, but that's a pleasant surprise.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, what would you recommend this program to other students?
Oh, definitely, if they're interested in seeing how municipal government works and kind of seeing the behind the scenes and the wires to a city. I think it's a very valuable experience if that's your interest. Yeah.
That's great. And have I ever asked you to get coffee or make copies?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah, unless I'm drinking it. Yeah. So.
That's great. Well, thanks very much. Thanks for chatting with us today.
Absolutely.
And that's a little insight into the Mayor's Fellow program. We hope that lots of students apply for it.
The Urban County Council is on winter break until next week, but there are still several televised meetings you can catch, including Wednesday's Police and Fire Pension Board meeting and the Planning Commission meeting. It's on Thursday. You can watch these meetings live as well as our other programming right here on Lex TV channel 185 or on our live stream. And you can find any meeting that's archived at lexingtonky.gov/LexTV, or you can find other programming on our YouTube channel. Just search for Lex TV. Well, that's all for this week's edition of Lexington Now. We'll return next week with more news from your urban county government, but you can keep up with us all week long on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also get 24/7 traffic updates by following us on Twitter. Our handle for that is @LexRex. Or if you want to get a bird's eye view of what's going on the roads, you can look at our live traffic cams. They're on the city's website, lexingtonky.gov. And just one more note, the City of Lexington's offices will be closed on January 15th in honor of the Dr. Martin Luther King holiday. For the staff and producers at Lex TV, I'm Sherelle Roberts, and that's it for now.